Welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Al Hibbert, your clinical Christian counselor and personal development coach. Our program is called MEET, Motivating, Equipping, Empowering, Training. We motivate by inspiring you to become your very best. We equip you by giving you working tools. We empower you by becoming a mentor to you, and we train you to use the tools we give you. Today, we will be addressing a very important topic in this session, and it's called choices. Come with me. We are living in very crucial times. Families are spending more time together. Mothers and fathers are at home. Children are at home. Somebody's always getting in the other person's space. The bills still has to be paid, and daddy may get a little frustrated because there's no money coming in, and children are eating more than they normally do. So it's time when wrong choices of words might be made, might be used. And sometimes these choices are really unintentional. Was not made to hurt, but we do make the wrong choices by using the wrong words. Let's look at choices in a little more in depth. We all make choices. It doesn't matter who you are. You make a choice. We all make choices every day. It's a normal way of life. Choices, choices, choices. We all make them. Let's look at this graph for a minute. Okay? This person was given a directive to go straight ahead. Now, while he was going, he came upon some distractions. The first distraction was pleasure. The moment he saw it, he starts scratching his head. And he's saying, wow, but I need that. And then he looked across. He saw another distraction, money. He looked again, and it just started grabbing his attention, success. And he looked, another one, power. These are distractions. And so these distractions sometimes cause one to make the wrong choice, because then instead of following the directive, go straight ahead, now he's scratching his head and he's confused whether or not he wants to go after these things or we want to follow the initial directive. And people find themselves in that situation every now and again, and that's when wrong choices are made. I love this quote by Kerry Russell. He said, sometimes it's the smallest decisions that can change your life forever. This is so true. Just one decision, not following what you were told, not making the right choice, just one bad choice, it changed your life forever. So please, my friends, make the right choice or choices. Okay? Some of our choices makes us a better person. And I would love that all of our choices would make us a better person. But some do cause us something that we're not proud of. And some of them we do regret. Some of them, they will haunt you to the grave if you don't deal with them right now. And so, again, avoiding making the same mistake twice would be a very healthy thing. If you make one mistake, as a matter of fact, let me say it this way. The first time, it's a mistake. The second time, it's a deliberate act. So just don't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again and call it a mistake. No, the first one was. The second one was not a mistake. It was deliberate. So make the right
choices, please. Okay? Here's another quote by Stephen Covey. I admire this writer, this speaker. He says, "We are the creative force of our life, and through our own decisions rather than our conditions. If we carefully learn to do certain things, we can accomplish those goals." Quote by Stephen Covey. Look at two words there, decisions and conditions. If I could just say it this way, never allow your conditions to dictate your decisions. Never make decisions when you're upset. Too many people do that. Wives do that. Husbands do that. And family members do that. They are upset and they're making a decision while they are upset. That can be a lasting pain. That can be something that never go away. If you're upset tonight, do not make a decision tonight. Don't walk out of the house. Don't walk out of the marriage and say, you know what, I'm upset, I'm mad, and, I just walk, I'm not coming back. No, just go sleep, have a good night's sleep, wake up in the morning, and think. Just think before you make a choice that is going to cost you what you really don't want. It's a price. Let me say this, a price that you really don't want to pay. All right? So don't make decisions when you are upset. It's too costly. All right? Think. We all have the ability to think. As a matter of fact, we control our own thinking. Nobody controls your thinking for you. You control the way you think. So when thoughts come into your head, you don't have to entertain all the thoughts. Just, a thought come in and it's not healthy, just throw it out. You are in control, not your thoughts. You control those thoughts. You control the way you think. You think of doing something to somebody. You really don't have to, because then if you do, you mean that your thoughts are in control of your life. And you are supposed to be in control of your thoughts. So control the way you think. Another one is feelings. Because of how we think, we create our own feelings. We create the way we feel. And it's not the thing that causes a problem. It's really how we think about the thing. Think about that for a minute. Okay? I love this quote. Don't choose to do something permanently stupid because you are temporarily upset. That's a great quote. This could help you, for a lifetime of joy, peace. Just make decisions when you're calm, when you're cool, not when you are upset. Okay. I want to just go through ABC quickly with you of REBT. As a matter of fact, REBT is Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. Okay? When you think of an activator, everything starts with an activator. If it's a conversation, if it's a quarrel, if it's a peaceful resolution, there is something that is going to activate that. An activator is like the key in your car. These days we have keyless cars. You have those press things, but it is still an activator because it turns over the engine. So we all use activators. We use activators in speech. We use activators in everything we do. Now, the activator you're using, especially if it's an irrational situation, it might be an unpleasant situation or event that causes a problem. Okay? then after that, there is our belief system. What do you believe from what happened in A? What do you believe in B? And then the C is, as a matter of fact, the B is self-talk. You know, the statements, the things that you're telling yourself in your head. Okay? There are self-talk statements. And so you have the C, which is consequences. They are consequences. And there are two types of consequences. You have emotional and you have behavioral. Number one is emotional. I started feeling anxious, worried, tense, upset, and overwhelmed. This could be from, for example, a wife comes home or a husband comes home and a bit of paper fall out on the floor, and you know, he or she picks up this paper, the phone number on it, and right away thoughts keep running through your head and you get emotional, maybe crying, saddened. So you find yourself in a room and all sort of crazy things start running through your head just by a bit of paper with a phone number. Again, you're thinking. You're thinking. Somebody's listening to me tonight who might have had an experience like that. And there's nothing. There was nothing about this phone number. There's nothing about this name. But the other person took it so wrong and so different, and it creates a problem. Next is behavioral. That same situation can cause a behavioral situation where you viciously attack your spouse because of that phone number. I want you to look at this picture at the right. Now, this couple, they're having a real tough situation. They're quarreling, they're mad at each other. And the child that is standing there has nothing to do with their situation. But here it is that he's taking out everything on the child. Poor little kid. Had nothing to do. Didn't know what's happening. Don't know what's happening with mommy and daddy. But here it is that he's caught right in the middle of the situation. And this happens every day with families, where the kids sometimes are the ones who pay the price for our wrong choices. Again, my friends, make proper choices. Choose to do the right thing. Choose to think the right way. And it will change your life forever. Okay? We create our own feelings. Nobody does that for us. We create our own feelings. Secondly, we feel what we feel because we think what we think. So if you are going to have a good feeling, if you're going to have a pleasant feeling, then you're going to have to create some good, pleasant feelings from the get-go, and so that it can filter into the rest of your thought process. And so you start to think what you feel. You think what you feel. Okay? Thirdly, our feelings of the fact is not necessarily the truth of the fact. It's a feeling, not the truth. The phone number was just a feeling. Okay? It's another man, it's another woman. It's not the truth. It's a fact that there's a phone number on the paper. That's a fact. But your feelings makes all the difference. Okay? What's your belief system? What you believe. Because this belief system has now created tension in the marriage. And so if you're going to resolve any sort of situation, you have to ask yourself, what started this? And sometimes we do forget. Okay? So what started all of this? I have to try to remember, and if I can remember how this started, and I can remember how I reacted, and I can remember, because as a matter of fact, you don't even have to remember what the consequences are because you're experiencing them right now. Okay? So let's look at life, look at rational and irrational thought process as two valves. A faucet has two knobs, hot and cold. The effects of either one running in a glass room produces frost. Whether it's hot, whether it's cold, it is going to frost up those glass in that room. Now, whichever one of our thinking valves we open will produce feelings, and feelings produce actions, good or bad. My advice to you would be to choose the good. Okay? Let's try to see if we can right a wrong choice. People are never proud of holding on to negative things, yet it's hard to let them go. I've seen that over the years in my counseling practice, where they're not proud of holding on to the negative, but you try to get them to let it go. They let it go today, and they try so hard to pick it up back tomorrow. Not that because they're proud of holding on to it, but it's hard to let go negative things. So I would say to you, refuse to listen to the negative voices in your head. Loudly tell yourself, this is a new day and the beginning of a new life for me. One of the things that you need to take into consideration is that try to use preferences over demands. Sometimes we make a lot of demands on our spouse or somebody, whoever it is, maybe a co-worker. Instead of using a preference, we use demands. And people really don't like for you to demand them, especially men. Men don't like to be told what to do, but you know how the females are. Females love to make demands. Sorry, ladies, but it's really true. Okay? And so, you find the musts and the shoulds, and all of these things are coming out. And the men do it too. But because men don't talk a lot, women do talk more than men. And you may find a few men who do talk a little more than the woman, but for the most part, women does the most talking. And because they do the most talking, you'll find that they make more demands than the men. And I don't say that in a negative way. I love the ladies, and I respect you all, but it's just the truth of life. I've been in counseling for years, and I've seen all of these things play out in the counseling office. All right? So let's look at our musts and our shoulds and the demands that we make. When demands are not met, we ask why, he, she, they, etc., etc. And so, again, replace musts and shoulds with preferences. Okay? Recreate in your mind the problem without blame. Recreate in your mind the problem without blame. Sometimes we are trying to recreate something to bring resolution, but in the same breath we're blaming somebody. The wife is blaming the husband is blaming the wife. You will not resolve a problem like that if you start to blame each other when you're trying to bring a resolution between both of you in that marriage. Okay? Number 2, write things down. A lot of people don't write things down. Men don't think of little things. Women do. They think of everything. Men sometimes forget the small things. Women don't. And so sometimes you find that the men can be off and the women are accurate because they make notes, they remember things. We men, we just run, and we never write it down. We forget it when the women forget, and then sometimes we contradict them and say, no, it didn't go like that, but they're right. For the most part, they are right, because it did happen that way. All right? Give yourself permission to change. Give yourself permission to change. You have the right to change. Everybody can change, including you. All right? Ask yourself, how was it dealt with? How was this situation dealt with? And if you can answer those simple basic questions, you're on your way to a healthy resolution. Okay? Number 5, create new thoughts and ideas. You have to develop new thought patterns. You have to develop new ideas. All right? Number 6, change negative thinking to positive. If you can do that, again, you're on your way to success. Number 7, develop reinforcers to deal with future problems, because I guarantee you that this is not the last problem that you face. There are going to be other problems down the road. And so you have to develop reinforcers that they will become actually insurance against the next thing that's going to happen, because you have learned from the first one, and because you have learned a lesson, you tell yourself it's not going to happen that way again. So you develop some reinforcers that you can just pull out of the bag, your bag of tricks, to deal with the next situation. Okay, thank you very much. It's so good for you to be here this evening with me. I want to maybe close out on this slide here. Choose to think positive. Again, thoughts, feelings, self-talk. Those 3 areas are very important for you to keep close tab on. Irrational negative thinking causes conflict. Irrational negative thinking causes conflict. So if you can think positive, rational positive thinking, that's the one that resolves conflict. One causes, one resolve. So make the right choice. If you're going to resolve your conflict, just tell yourself, I'm going to be a rational person. And you'll be surprised to see what it does for you. I hope you have learned something from this session. In the following sessions, we are geared to teach you some things, to help you to understand what causes relationship conflicts and how to resolve them, to experience healthy relationships, and controlling your thought life, understand the secrets of human behavior, and how God's marvelous plans work when they're understood and applied. We're going to talk about stress, and there's a host of topics that we're going to be addressing down the road. So again, thank you very much, and remember this thought. Until next time, don't do something permanently stupid because you are temporarily upset. Invite someone to watch, and please subscribe. Have a good day. Bye-bye.